So now you get to see what I can see. So now you don't actually really know anything, just like I never really know anything. So when you sit over there and give me a bunch of guff about not communicating to you about whether or not we're online,
So it really doesn't tell
well,
you
this
like
is what you get. You know,
you're
you just
online now.
yeah, you
It
just
should.
kind of
I
like.
think it should be in your face, like you're live.
Well, maybe
No
it's that little thing up
question.
there. Maybe it does tell me.
Or start talking. Hello, everyone. We're live on YouTube,
Of course
I think.
we are.
We would love to know where you're watching from in the live chat. We're in Maryland, right outside of Annapolis.
Last I checked.
Yeah, well, I'm just letting everyone
Okay.
else know.
Well, fair enough.
So, anyone who's watching, I would love to know any questions you might have for our special guest this evening. Please put those in the live chat. And how's the weather? It's
Wow.
pretty bad. That's
Really?
Pretty bad.
There's like a hurricane battering
I know, it's
Louisiana
terrible.
right now, and
That's terrible.
no weather. Weather's bad. What
Well,
else
I
we
hope
got?
everyone is doing okay. I haven't heard much about that. If anyone has any updates, did you check
me.
it? How the
Um,
hurricane was faring?
No, actually, I've had a really busy afternoon.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to take a look at it.
So, see, Sonia is from Central Illinois.
There we are.
And King George, Virginia. I know
She's
where that
right
is.
over the bridge, right over the Harry Nice Bridge.
So, yeah, just leave us any questions. Maybe not about the hurricane because we don't know anything. Hopefully, everyone down there is doing okay.
We're gonna get some rain at the end of the week. That's all I know. That's all I've looked at. Selfishly,
Sounds
as
fun.
the life of a roofer, I had to worry about our weather. So, anyway, this
So
week
I don't have much going on this week. I've been doing a lot of quilting, not so much card making. I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry. I'm freaking loving it. I think everyone should do this. It's fabulous.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I
Well,
really don't. I don't think it's a bad thing.
I think it's extremely fun. It's like a puzzle. It's like you're putting together a fabric puzzle.
I like that you're actually coming to me with like math questions, and I'm like,
am.
oh,
And you have to be precise. Like there's no joking around with quilting. Like you have to be cutting properly and sewing that perfect 1/4 inch and just being on the money, or it's gonna be off.
I'm just happy you haven't had an incident with the sewing machine yet.
I'm scared enough of the needle that it's not like I'm avoiding it.
Well, I have all the experience necessary to help you out.
You can tell everyone your his
Yeah,
home economics.
my 7th grade home
travesty.
economics issue.
Go ahead.
Rachel, if you're out there, Rachel, I remember you. You were sitting right there, and we were talking. I was making a duffel bag, and I was talking to Rachel, and had my hand turned like this. The needle went in here and came out the tip of my finger, and it bound up the machine. So it didn't pull itself back out. My finger was under the presser foot, and they called the paramedics, who showed up with a hacksaw, and they were about to start cutting the cutting.
That was their solution.
Cutting the foot off. And I talked him out of it. I was like, "Look, guys, you know that thing, like you drop the little thing and unscrew here, and it all like just comes out." And he was like, "Wow, that's way better." But
if anyone has been, and if any of you have been watching us for any amount of time, you'll know that my husband is very klutzy. He's actually very, very klutzy. He bleeds on a regular basis.
spring leaks
And just
old plumbing.
I can say, hey, don't cut yourself on that rotary cutter. And boom, like that. Oops, and there's blood. I mean, I don't know how it happens sometimes, but like I have to keep first aid. Have to.
I prefer I perform my own first aid, though. At least I don't generally need help.
Yeah. He tries to keep it from me, and I'll just walk over to where he was standing and just see drops of blood. Because that's better.
Hey, you know Carissa's here?
Yes.
Could
We
we
do.
let's go pick on her for a while.
We have an awesome guest this evening. We have Carissa Wiley. She's all the way over on the West Coast, another East Coast, West Coast chat. Let's bring her on.
But I mean, but Tupac is like from here.
I mean, he is from here.
I know. So we get Biggie and Tupac. You get nothing.
No, they
We
have
have
Snoop.
someone, right?
I mean, you get Snoop and Dre, but they weren't part. Anyway, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello,
You're
Carissa.
talking the wrong genre for me. I'm like,
What kind of music do you listen to?
I'm just an old woman who listens to praise and worship music. As like cool as I'd love to be and tell you something different, it really is what I listen to. I'm not cool.
I do enjoy listening to praise and worship music as well as classical. A lot of I will put on some classical music, and I feel like I can appreciate, I can't understand a lot of, what more smarter people than me appreciate about the music, but I like it. I like listening to it. I like the feeling of classical music. A lot when I was studying for things, I did read an article that classical music was supposed to help you achieve like a certain, I don't know. I was trying to do anything to get good grades.
Yeah. I do have to say though, like if you're going to work out, there's nothing like a little bit of Usher or Justin Timberlake or,
I listen to a lot of like hip hop and a lot of beat like trap music.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. I can't handle like the music that's like repetitive. Like I think EDM, like I can't do it.
Right.
But my what I love, like at
We
heart,
almost had her beatboxing. Have another drink. Come on, we're gonna get you beatboxing for the end of the night.
like my high school, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Green Day, Weezer, those were
It just
like,
means we know exactly
Yep.
how old you are.
We're all the
how old
same
am
I
I?
know.
Let's play this game. How old am I?
I think you're younger than me. I think you're like 38.
Tim, do you have a guess?
41.
I am 41.
I'll be 42 next month.
So we are like almost the same age. You're just a couple months ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm
Because if I were
September of
I were to
79.
rattle off a handful of bands that popped into my head in high school, Red Hot Chili Pepper. I mean, like those. I mean it, and I'm hello.
But I hung out with the kids that like thought it was cool to like music that nobody else liked.
Oh yeah.
So like we listened to a lot of California punk bands that weren't really popular on the East Coast. Hence my daughter's name.
I introduced my youngest to Weezer and I like won her over. Like she
Dexter.
is digging Weezer.
Isn't it cool how that happens? My daughter loves all kinds of music. She's just big into music like me. So she appreciates a lot of different types of music. But
Dexter fell in love with what is that one?
Metallica.
No. The Weezer song.
The zombie one.
That's right.
Yeah. The Weezer song about the zombies. But
So
he
would
likes
like run around
Metallica.
just talking about.
He will get mad at me. Like he does not like R&B music because I like old school R&B music, like SWV. If I put that on, he'll get mad at me. Like, why you put this on and like leave the room?
Well,
I think back to my 8th grade year and I just can't, like, the only thing I can hear is there's like 2 songs or it's Boys to Men, anything Boys to Men, like junior high. And then,
right. All the middle
Cross,
school dances.
Oh
yeah. Make a jump.
Make a jump.
That's how.
Yeah. I mean, jump around.
Did you go to the skating rink?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was on the speed team. But like
Turbo.
Oh yeah.
Did you have like a skater name? Like
no, but I still have my skates.
Yeah. Okay, I have to tell you a story because every year for our church we have we rent out the roller rink here and we do like a family night. And I'm not a rollerblader. I'm like your classic 4-wheel roller skates. We were in
Call those
Arizona.
side by sides now.
We were in Arizona, and I saw these holographic, like they're side by sides, is what you're telling me. I'm not cool enough to know that.
The wheels. I don't know.
Well, I just found
like the boot of the skate was like the holographic, like the Aaron Lee Creative holographic paper.
I know exactly what you're saying.
It took everything in me not to buy them. I should have bought them. I should be like breaking them in for church skate night now. I should be doing that. When I was young, Christy Yamaguchi, you remember? I totally wanted to be Christy Yamaguchi.
I don't like being cold though. So that's why I never got ice skates. I don't like being cold. So I could never do the ice thing. So yeah, that's why it was always roller skates.
Well, we live in a climate where you can't do ice. Yeah.
I'm really jealous of that.
104 here today or something like that. It's insane. So
we didn't have too bad of a day here today. It's been wet, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, no.
But I loved roller skating growing up, and then you grow out of it, and then my daughter got into it, which made me get back into it. And they made me stop roller skating when I was pregnant with Dexter. Because I would go and just get exercise going around the ring. But once I started showing, people gave people anxiety. So they told me to stop.
You're going to break a hip, old lady. Get off the ring. You look fragile. You're out there in your librarian sweater. No wonder they told you to get off of it. Like, look at this. It's
actually really good exercise and it's fun. So, and if my daughter's going to be there, why can't I just be there going around in circles?
I'm not passing judgment. I can't do it.
But then she grew out of it. We haven't been in a while.
Did Tim ever reveal his age?
I am 40. I turned 41 in December.
Oh, Corin robbed the cradle.
We were in the same grade.
I actually had to do second grade twice. Because I was really bad.
I was a bad
kid. And so I got held back in second grade, and which put me in Timothy's grade.
I see.
So I was older than everyone else, unfortunately.
Kim skated at Crofton Rink.
Oh, really? I've been there.
Boom. Look at that.
Yes, I've been there. Okay, so it's really sad because the Pasadena skating rink, which is where we grew up going, just closed down a couple years ago. So the people I knew the people that ran it. They lived down the street from my aunt for a long time. So it just closed down recently. It's really sad. I think, it's a church now.
Yeah.
They turned this huge place into a church. So it's.
Are you talking in nice. Pasadena, California, or was
no, that's Pasadena.
I was going to say
Maryland. Yes, okay. There's a Pasadena, Texas, and there's a Pasadena, California, and there's a Pasadena, Maryland. I know this because I went on a trip with my grandparents cross country. And everywhere we stopped, we would make friends with the kids in the campground. And I would say, I'm from Pasadena. And they would say, California? And I'd say, no.
And that's how we tell, that's why we tell people that we're from Baltimore now.
Yeah.
We're actually not from Baltimore. We've neither one of us have ever actually lived in Baltimore, but.
Actually, I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I wouldn't claim
that. I bought my first house. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't. Don't tell people that. That's bad. Don't live there. Don't go to Baltimore.
I have. But, yeah, nobody knows Pasadena, Maryland.
Yeah, no. little sleepy town of like 12. Well, it's got like 200,000 people in it.
It's a shore town. It's where our grandparents, when they were growing up, they would go to Pasadena. That's the shore.
That was the weekend houses, the little bungalows and things like that were down here on the Chesapeake Bay, and it was like the weekend destinations. And then, as our grandparents stopped coming down, our parents, basically assumed most of the local houses, and then now it's just gotten to the point now where it's unrecognizable. You can't even. It used to be like this 1-lane road to get on a peninsula to get all the way down to the end of it, down to the island, and now it's got interchangeable lane system in the middle of 2-lane traffic, and it's really
just like anything else,
Yeah, it is kind of like that. We have a little destination kind of close to us. couple hours away. Just same thing, like everybody had a house there. And
Right.
So Carissa, tell us how you got started in card making.
Well, I
Because she
actually started
couldn't make it as a professional skater. I thought we had that.
Because Chrissy Yamaguchi already took that job.
Twisted bitch right now.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. I only had like a square of concrete to roller skate in as a child, and the gravel was brutal. So that career path did not pan out. But when my son was born, who's now 19, the guys were playing basketball on Tuesday nights, and the girls needed something to do. We had the kids, we needed something to do. We would get pizza, and we started scrapbooking together. And I scrapbooked for a long time, and it was just like these projects were huge and unmanageable. And somewhere along the way, I found Stampin' Up! Like probably 95% of the people did.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of evolved. And then I think I saw Christina Werner first online, and I was like, I could totally do that. And I mean, not that what she was doing wasn't special, because obviously we all know she's special.
Yes.
But I was like, I want to do that. I want to share what I know online. And it just kind of went from there. And I mean, I worked for a lot of years with no viewers and no views. And, I just put content out there. And it was like, if you wanted to enjoy it, it was there for you. If not, that's fine too. But I really do love sharing that part of it. And I love when people walk away feeling like, oh, I could do that, because now it's been broken down for me, right? All it is like a series of steps. And if you share those steps, anybody can really do it, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's not rocket science once you break it down into manageable portions.
I challenge that notion once a year. Okay. I just want to go on record. Like,
but
y'all
you
have seen
take
it.
no preparation. You make no preparation. If you put your mind to it, like we do, then you would be able to make a card as well. But you end up putting your arm in ink because you don't have a desire to do better. We do.
Yes. And Corinne, have you ever, I said your name wrong, and I knew I was going to do that.
It's all right. Now we got past it. We knew it was going to happen.
Okay. Now we're over it. But has Tim ever done the husband does the voiceover for you? Because my husband did that. And how long has it been? I have not. I need to go back and watch it, because that was probably hilarious.
I think you did 2 of them.
I think it was when you were still upstairs.
I was still upstairs in the upstairs craft room. I think there's 2, but it's probably been a while. Yeah, and I can't remember exactly, but I think there's 2.
You see, your husband's a good sport like mine is, and he's done it for me too. And by far, people love that. They think it's so hilarious.
But now I think he knows too much.
Which might be true, because he spends a lot of time with you there.
Yeah,
my husband doesn't. So
I think when he goes to, part of the fun of that is laughing at them stumble because they don't know anything. Ha ha ha! You don't know what that is. But with him, I make him read my blog posts, because
there's not much.
I'm scared of sounding like an idiot, which is what. But I make him do it, so he knows too much. I don't know if it would be funny now.
But my blog posts have evolved to like, here's my card, watch the video.
I read those.
I read those. Watch the video.
It could be 3 sentences, and I'm like, okay, just read it.
It'll be 3 sentences.
Just read it.
And one of them will be, thank you, Corin Wiskman. And the first one will be like, hi, guys. Right? In the middle, something like, I made a video.
I don't feel like I'm a good writer. So,
no writing confidence.
Right. Because like I told you, I was a really bad kid. Like I didn't like school. Mm-hmm. So I fought a lot. And just like Dexter is doing to me right now. So, but I appreciate it and I want to be right. So I make him check it.
Yeah.
And I make him teach me the things. Teach me if I'm wrong.
I think you should make like 4 templates that are all just slightly different. You just rotate through the templates and change the center part of it. So you know the beginning and the end are good. And then you just have to add like 1 or 2 sentences right there in the middle. Publish, done.
She's smarter than me. I know
that
that
to retype things.
he has told me in the past to do templates, and I have not.
There, once upon a time, we were talking about ways to improve her metrics, improve her, her performance online. So, I did a little bit of research into SEO, and universally, like time after time after time, what I kept seeing was that when you had a face in the thumbnail, that it was going to additionally promote the algorithm.
That's the algorithm, yeah.
For the longest time, she refused to put her face on the thing until I don't remember who it was.
It was Craig. It was Heffy's husband.
That's right.
And he was
like on a phone call from the UK, and he was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely."
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey, I'm noticing that you get slightly higher views on the videos that you have your face on the thumbnail." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I kind of see that too." He was like, "You should put your face on the thumbnail." I'm like, "Oh, all right, I will."
And you're talking to someone who's never put her face on the thumbnail, so.
Well, there you go.
It's in the algorithm.
I'm sure it would be. I mean, I'm sure it would. I just I don't want to have, maybe I just use the same face on the thumbnail all the time.
So I just pick the
prop in the card or something. I don't want to have to get dressed every day. My Lord, that's so much work.
Right? So I pick the goofiest looking screenshot as I'm editing. You stop on something that just makes you say, wow.
Yeah.
And that'll be my thumbnail, because I really don't care what it looks like. So I'm just putting it on there for the algorithm. So there, it's there. Yeah. And I mean, it's fun because some of them, it's playful, so I want people to have fun or look at it and smile. And, but yeah, he's basically saying that I don't listen and I'm stubborn. Because he told me the exact same thing.
She did literally tell me the other day not to cut my finger on the rotary blades, though, and I had to glue myself back together.
Is that a question?
I'm kind of clumsy like that too, so I can appreciate that.
Thank you, Amy. But he is. And it's not like little things. It's like, you really need stitches. Oh, no, I'll just glue it. No, you need stitches.
I thought Dexter had to run sutures the other day.
I'm not gonna lie. I am a nurse, and I was going to say, I'm not going to lie. I have told people just to like super glue it together. I
glued my ear back together, glued my finger back. I glue myself together all the time.
I am not in any way giving medical advice on this show right now. I just want to make that disclaimer. But I have told my pastor's child just to glue it. I'm like, do you really want to go sit in the emergency room for that? Because to me, my time is valuable. If I can save a few minutes by just pulling out the super glue at home and just like,
So I did oral surgery for like the last 5 years of my career. We use super glue in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, like
we do. It's actually really quite handy. And
we're not telling you to eat super glue either.
No,
I'm
don't
putting that out there for the audience.
That's another story. That's a whole other story. Good Lord.
Dexter,
it's been a weird week.
Super glue this week.
It's been a weird week.
He saw the package of.
It was the same day. Right?
It was like a pair of sunglasses getting repaired by the super glue. And in his mind, he was like, how does this equal to sunglasses? Let me chew on it to get it open.
I feel like he should be beyond that stage.
Me too.
I don't know.
It's puppy stage.
And
it's like he's back in puppy stage.
Right. That was like the first thing. I was like, what is this puppy behavior? And he had super glue all over his face. He had tried to wipe it off with a paper towel and then paper towel glued
stuck to his face.
To his face.
So how'd you get it off? Acetone?
Well, I have some dental tools, so I cleaned his teeth, and then it's just gonna wear away.
And
on
the stuff on his face,
and the
when
stuff on
it
his
hadn't
face,
completely set.
I used
so,
some witch hazel to like loosen it up, and it came off the next day. But he has like sensitive skin, so now he has like a little bit of a rash there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still get to look at it for the next couple of days.
yeah, the kid's wild.
That's so funny. That is so funny. I have a puppy in my house, but it's like an actual puppy. It's not.
Yeah, like
Like a canine, not a kid puppy.
I seriously think that there's a little bit of regression because of like the lack of socialization recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they're boredom also like, oh, I wonder what this is. Let me
just totally bored.
but
Yeah.
It's the end of summer here. You know what I mean? Like school hasn't started back up yet. He's got like another 2 weeks or something like that before school, but so school hasn't really started back up yet. The talks about school aren't really here yet. It's still too far off in the future. And, so he's like at the end stages of summer where the rest of us are all kind of shifting gears into what the fall is going to look like. And he's just, man, the kid lives in his own calendar. He doesn't even register.
Matter.
Hello, Brian from my Facebook group.
I have, are you guys going to school there? I'm just curious.
They have, they're going to start school in person on the 7th. No, it's 9th. The week of the 9th.
8th,
it's pretty late. Like after
Labor Day.
Yeah.
And then so I have 2 going back to school like that way, and then I'm homeschooling Dexter.
Okay.
So we're kind of a mixed breed here.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Well, it's Hayden's senior year, and Olivia's in 8th grade, so they're both in like transitional years, and Dexter's flat out like doesn't want to go back to regular school yet. So, well, I mean, he's waiting for things to get normal. He doesn't want to go back and then close school again and whatever. Yeah. So things are just a little too up in the air for him. Even for him at 8, the super glue eater. It's things aren't stable enough for the super glue eater yet. This is our life, Carissa.
And I really like, especially my oldest son, the one who's a senior. He really likes routine,
a structure.
Yeah. And I think that he needs to go back because being home and having less of a structure, he's really struggling. So I don't want him to be hindered anymore. So he needs to go back. And then Olivia, she thrives in whatever you throw her into. She's just remarkable like that. Yeah. But Dexter, he eats glue.
He'll grow out of it. I mean, we all did. I ate paste in preschool. I mean, I'm
preschool,
okay.
And it was paste. Like he went. So he went.
I'm making the point that he will grow out of it. Girls are more mature, so I started eating the glue earlier than he did. Okay, he's going to grow out of it. I'm just telling you.
I thought we passed right over it. I was like, wow, none of my kids have ever eaten glue.
How did you get away with that?
Kaylin swears that she ate magnets. Do you know what magnetics are?
Yeah, like the things that you would build, like
little structures. All of my kids are creative, and so they like to build things. Legos are super popular in my house, and magnetics. Well, you get like these balls that are like they're pretty big, and she swears that they were on her pillow, and she fell asleep, and they rolled in her mouth, and she swallowed them. That's what she says.
Oh, it's absolutely plausible.
And she has believed that she's swallowed magnets at this point in her life, and that it made her sick for a long time because she would always complain to me. It's the magnets.
This is our 20-year-old.
She'll probably.
So we have an 8-year-old super glue eater and a 20-year-old magnet eater.
But she wasn't 20.
Well, it's just a good thing that toilets aren't made of metal, right? Because
we have a toilet story for this week too.
Dexter flushed part of my vacuum down the toilet.
Oh, no.
When I tell you my week has been like this.
Yeah.
The fact that you just said he flushed part of my vacuum. Just let that marinate for a minute, everybody.
Wow.
He dropped something in the potty and didn't want to reach his hands in. So he disassembled the vacuum to use it as a tool to retrieve whatever it is that he dropped in the toilet. And then said, whatever, and then flushed it down the toilet.
It wasn't working out, so he just
broke the toilet
that along with it.
Yes. So our toilet is broken.
You know, I would say that, you know, and I know you guys know this because you have a 20-year-old, you have a senior in high school, you have an 8th grader. I would like to say that it gets easier, but it just gets different, right?
Right. Yeah. It's a different set of struggles. It really is.
It's like, you know, like the kid gets in a car accident and they take care of it themselves. And you're like, what? Did you get the person's phone number? No. Like, how is that taking care of it? That is not taking care of it. You call us.
How is your son, the baseball player? Is he still playing?
He is. And he got his full season last year in Oklahoma. He had his full school year there at the university that he's at. So he had a great freshman year. Unfortunately, a lot of his friends in California did not get anything like in person for college. But he had a full year. He stayed healthy. And he's doing great. He's in like the best shape of his life. That kid works so hard. He works out much more than what the baseball team requires. And he's in amazing shape. And so, but man, he's always asking for money.
Because it costs a lot to eat good enough to be in good shape.
You know what?
That's
like
he's
super picky about what he puts in his body. And
you
I try to like
you can't eat off the school cafeteria line and stay in the kind of shape that you need to perform at an elite level. I mean, that's just really
so a lot of my care packages, it's like protein powder and, you know, like supplements that he needs and probiotics and, you know, and he's like very he'll go to Chick-fil-A and he won't eat the French fries, which I don't even get that. Like,
you know what?
Both Tim and I played college level sports. And
no reason for that.
I know that it can be grueling. So
yeah,
it's exciting though. I hope he gets to, you know, show him he's so good. I just love following that.
You know, I think that this year I think he started last year as a freshman in college. There were games that he started. It wasn't all the time, but I think this year he's going to have an opportunity to start a lot. And he hit his first over the fence, out of the park home run last year, his freshman year. And so I think it's going to be a good year. I'm sure they heard me scream in Oklahoma all the way from California because I was at work and I was watching it like virtually. I mean, I wasn't at work, but I was watching it virtually, you know, wasn't at work. I was watching it virtually and it went over the fence and I was like, I couldn't even contain myself. There was no one to share it with. There was no one around me. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to tell someone. And, you know, nobody cared, but I was super happy.
What did Simon say? Doesn't eat the French fries at what?
He said he doesn't eat the French fries at Chick-fil-A. That's the best part. That's what
I know, Simon. It is the best part. So what sport did you play and what sport did Tim play?
I played softball and I was a cheerleader. Okay. And Tim played football, but not very long because he got injured.
Yeah, I blew myself up.
And then I turned down my scholarship. So
what was that? What was the scholarship for? Which one?
I got a scholarship to Lindenwood University in St. Charles, Missouri, a long time ago, to play softball.
Oh wow!
I played my whole life. I played since I was 6 years old, and I love it. I played still as an adult. Like Tim and I were on co-ed teams, right? 2018.
Yeah. So what position did you play? Because I played softball as well. I kind of stopped. I could have played in high school. I just didn't. I should have. But
I played when I first started. I played second base and right field. I was 6, playing with like 7 and 8 year olds. Mm-hmm. But my mom was the coach, so I pitched. I played shortstop for like 7 or 8 years. And then I love playing outfield because it's the last line of defense. And that's where all the balls are hit when you get older.
It
That's
is
where the
true.
fun stuff
And
is.
and her
Yeah.
mom is one of those
And
people.
I'm really fast, or was really fast. So I could get to the ball really quickly. So that was I played shortstop for a long time, but I love outfield.
And her mom's one of those people that overcomes the idea that maybe there's favoritism by making it double work for her kids. Like there
There's
wasn't
no doubt. There's
right.
no
It
doubt.
wasn't like
I appreciate
everybody
that, though.
take a lap around the field. It was like everybody take a lap. Corey take a lap and give me 40 wind sprints and 25 jump jack push-ups. You know what I mean? Like
I was the kid that was out in the driveway with
Yeah,
the
with a
you know
ball.
with a ball
Yeah.
and a glove in my hand constantly. Everywhere I went, I had a ball and a glove everywhere.
So what position would you guess that I played?
I have no idea.
I don't think anybody's going to guess this. I don't know. I was actually a catcher, and I loved it because you're like
I hate
down and dirty. You're in every play, right? You are like right
You
there.
either love it or hate it.
It's true. It's true. But I think it's like it's a demanding position, but it's also like you're always in the center of the action. You've always got to know what's going on. And
my knees hurt for you.
Yeah.
well, I didn't play too long. I didn't play into high school, but Preston ended up becoming a catcher. James, my husband, was a catcher. Preston is a catcher now, catching at college level, and he loves it. And we are definitely worried about his knees, but he seems to be doing okay so far.
Yeah,
My
my brother played football in high school, and he joined the military when he was 18, and they gave him like, I don't know, your knees. And he had problems in basic with his knees. So he almost didn't make it through, but he did.
Yeah,
Well,
they turned me down on medical liability.
Brutal on the body. I mean, football is really hard on the body. James, my husband, he's actually having his first of 2 knee replacement surgeries in just a few weeks. So, yeah.
Oh, good luck to him on that one. That's
any kind of joint.
He's really funny because he thinks he's going back to work like the next week. Well, I'm a nurse. I've taken care of knee replacement surgery patients before. I'm like,
my mom was like, I'll get them both done at the same time. I can get them both done. And I'm like, but nobody's going to be there
nobody
with you.
can pick you up.
And she got one done. And I don't think she's going to get the second one because the first one hurt so bad that she's just like, screw it. It doesn't hurt that bad.
Yeah. She's like, it's not worth it. I know he thinks he's going to be back to work in a week. I'm like, okay, you should maybe plan for another week. So
maybe.
I learned the hard way that going back to work too fast after a reconstruction is worse than what you're going to do to it, whatever it is that you did to screw it up in the first place.
Yeah.
And mine compounded several magnitudes by them letting me go back. I wanted to go back. I'm not somebody, I don't do good sitting around.
Judy says you got to do physical therapy beforehand.
Absolutely. Yep.
You almost have to like get ready for it. Yeah.
The stronger you are going in, the stronger you are coming out. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
See, Roberta said she was typing catcher before you said it.
I saw that. It's so funny. I didn't think I'm kind of prissy now, so I would think that people wouldn't think that about me.
I have a prissy side. Definitely. I'm definitely
those outfits going to Disney World.
I definitely am the princess of my family. Like compared to the other members of my family, I'm the princess for sure.
Yeah.
I'm the most needy.
We're just
like my family is like survivalists, you know, like they could live out in the middle of nowhere and be okay. And no, I can't do that. I only go glamping.
Yeah. Life's just too short for me to lay in the dirt, you know?
Yeah. I played in the dirt for a long time.
I did too. I was a catcher. I wasn't afraid then, but now I'm just like, we watch one of the very few shows we watch on television is Naked and Afraid. And I just cannot imagine how these people are sitting their bare butts on the ground. I mean, like, come on. This is crazy. There are bugs there, people, and there are open things. Like, this is not okay.
For a long time.
Give them at least like a loincloth or something.
Whenever we go on vacation, we would just turn on the TV. When you get settled into the hotel or wherever you're staying, you turn on the TV or whatever, and it's always naked and afraid.
And everywhere we would
Always.
go. Yeah, because we would always turn on like Discovery Channel or whatever it comes on.
Why turn it off?
Right.
Look at these crazy people.
Right.
It's crazy.
But
I'm like amazed.
Who would sign up for that?
I'm amazed. I just like,
how much money?
I have like, there's not a part of me. There's like, I'm a very like, I can do it kind of person. There is not one single part of me, not like one cell in my body that feels like I could go out there and do that. And I, like I said, I'm like one of those, I can put my mind to it. I can accomplish it, but I am not under any sort of like illusion that I would be okay out there. I mean, I just like, I'll tell you a story. We went to Hawaii in June. We went to this fish, shrimp and prawn farm. And we waited like an hour and a half in line to order and like 2 hours for our food. I mean, this was like an ordeal. And I was prepared for the fact that I would have to maybe pull the legs off of my prawns when I got them. Like,
the head gotcha.
And that's like roughing it for me. I was like, I'm going to have to pull the legs off. This is going to be rough. There was not only legs and heads, there was like all the roe still in it. And I'm like, literally, I'm freaking out. I got stuff under my nails. I'm just like, oh, tears in my eyes. Okay. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to eat these prawns. We've waited so long. I got to the third prawn and I pulled like the head off, and the orange stuff from the ovaries started to get underneath my fingernails, and I lost it crying. And my husband's like, babe, you don't have to eat it. And I was like, I'm done. I can't. So
I can't believe you waited that long. We love eating crabs.
Right. Have you ever been to the East Coast? I mean, have you ever made your way out this way?
I've been to like New York City and Washington, D.C., but I've
Neither one of those
never
places
been
are
like
real places.
Those
people don't exist.
But crabs I feel like aren't as bad. Sometimes shrimp, and you have like the poo.
But the crabs.
Here we go. Talk about poop again.
Right. Oh,
the poo section where that you have to clean it. I think
they call it the vein.
And why do restaurants think it's cool to leave the tails on shrimp?
I'm with you on this one.
Well, I'm like, okay, I feel like had they cleaned it, just cleaned the prawn, I would have survived the leg and the head thing. But all that other stuff, and when the orange stuff started leaking out, and I was just like, I feel
you on that.
I'm so done. And
yet,
like,
you'll eat crabs by the dozen.
There's just, I don't know.
Which is
crabs have stuff in them that I don't know about, because when
there's
I
like a mustard. The mustard.
There's a whole, and it's a gland.
It can be gruesome to people that are not.
There's a whole process to it. When you open it up, you literally pull the gills away. You take away the inner portions of it, and you kind of set those aside. And there's a lot of cracking and breaking, and it's a very kind of, it's almost a savage type of way, because it's a lot with your hands. You're like cracking the shells, and you're busting things open, and there's a lot of kind of.
I've definitely eaten crab, but I don't remember like there being any.
It's not. I think it's different. I feel, and something that's equally gross to me is when you're having a clam or something
with grit,
like a bivalve, in it, and you bite into it, and you're like eating sand. I can't do that either. The meal will be ruined for me if I eat sand.
Yeah, I think as I get older, I'm getting prissier. I'm just like, I don't have time for that.
Our expectations are higher, I think.
Yeah.
And Roberta's got a great point here. She said you're a nurse, and yet the shrimp grossness is what broke you down.
Let me just tell you, I am not eating anything that I'm dealing with at work.
Yeah, true.
That's a whole.
It ain't going in my mouth. So there's the difference. Also, I have to tell you, I had COVID in December of last year, right around Christmas time. Our Christmas was ruined. And I lost my sense of smell completely. I have not gotten it back at all. So in my line of work, like I cannot smell anything. And people are
Probably
like,
not
oh,
a
can you
terrible
smell
thing.
that? You can smell a little. I'm like, no, I can't smell a little. I cannot smell anything. So in my line of work, it works out okay. Like, you know.
Are they saying that you're going to get that back eventually?
I have not been to a doctor. I'm assuming that eventually. I don't know.
I would think eventually you would.
It's been 9 months. It's been 9 months.
That's weird.
There are
crazy.
certain nerves in your mouth, and sometimes we can get a little close to them. And I've seen where people will lose, sensation in a quadrant, and it will take a really long time, but they can get it back. I don't know if your sense of smell is anything like that, but
I don't know. I haven't done a ton of research on it. I'm a pediatric nurse, so I asked one of the pediatricians at the hospital, I'm like, do you have any any research on this? And so I've been like trying like the steroid nasal sprays to see if that does something. But
I'm sorry. Could you say that one more time?
Steroid nasal sprays.
That's not at all what I heard.
What did you hear?
I can't repeat it.
Okay.
I was hoping you would, though.
You whisper it in my ear.
I know, because I'm so confused.
What about nipple spray?
Oh, God. No.
You can text me later and let me know.
Yeah.
What that is.
Yeah. But I don't know if I would miss my sense of smell. I mean, it could be a benefit.
So here's the deal. I would say like overall, it's not like a huge deal, but there are things that I'm really missing right now. I'm really missing like lighting a candle and enjoying that scent. I'm really I never know like if the food on the stove is burning or like my house could be burning down. I would never smell it. My husband has amazing cologne. It does nothing for me anymore. So the poor guy had like, at least something in his tool bag. Not
and your sense of smell has a lot to do with your memories too. So
yes,
like, that you
smell. I mean,
you lose the
very
recollection
connected
from
to
the triggers,
memory.
yeah.
So like I'll like toast pecans for this chicken salad that I make, and I'll tell James, can you come here and like tell me when it starts to get fragrant, because that's when they're done. But I don't know. Is it
Can you
affecting
taste?
my taste? I can taste, but not everything tastes right. So I can taste, and I would say I'm probably like 70%. Like a couple weeks ago, I had some Cheez-Its and they tasted straight sugar, but I can definitely taste. Yes. And it's like not all
So
the
like
time.
doesn't even make sense. Like the
No. And it's not all the time. It's like sometimes it's like things hit me weird and sometimes they don't. But for the most part, I can taste. So
wow.
So it's been 9 months. It's a long time. And people are feeling sorry for me. It's okay. It works out for my job, like quite honestly.
I mean, as a dental assistant, it would be really nice to not smell things.
Right?
Okay. Because we smell things that are coming through, and like root canals, any dental assistants that are in the live chat, I know that some of our friends with me, it smells bad, especially the chemicals.
Hey, look, I'll just be as self-deprecating as I can be. I mean, it's 165 degrees on a roof. I smell bad. Not smelling at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think I would miss it, especially that memory trigger.
Yeah.
I would say the memory trigger, and like when it cools down in the fall and you like enjoy those scents of like fall candles and stuff, I miss that.
Right.
But yesterday we went to a Fresno State football game. We have season tickets there. And it was 104 degrees outside. We were all sweating like crazy. We got in the car and I could sit next to anybody. It didn't bother me a bit. So
locker room reporter.
Right. There you go.
yeah. Oh, cool I could do that.
Hey, I don't have to smell it anymore. I have a leg up.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to go in. I could smell things.
Yeah. So, I mean, it works out. It's fine.
You know,
But
even
there
the
are
nice
things I
ones,
definitely miss.
Yeah.
So, but
even
I
the
mean,
nice locker rooms stink.
Especially like those warnings, like you said, like your house is on fire or some type of chemical. You need
Mhm.
you need to smell things.
like if the gas stove got left on and it
Yeah.
was like pouring gas into your
Did
house,
you
or
get a hyper sense of smell when you were pregnant with your kids?
I did. That was the worst.
It was like super smell.
Yes.
Like I
I
could
had to
smell
like
everything.
change my lipstick because I couldn't even stand the smell of my lipstick anymore. My husband would come kiss me to leave for work and he'd have his cologne on and I'd be like, ugh,
Yeah.
like get away. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, it was like super
I feel you.
hyper
I did too.
heightened.
It was like a super sense.
It's weird. Isn't it weird? Like
Yeah.
I literally could not wear the same lipstick anymore.
I'd walk in the door and she'd be like, "You had French fries for lunch,
I could smell it on
and
you.
you didn't bring me any
I
French
don't think that
fries."
ever
You
happened.
know, I think that's a big mistake when you're dealing with a pregnant woman. Because those hormones, they can make you do some
You
crazy
brought
things.
French fries home. I'm going to puke from that today. How dare you bring French fries home?
Here's something that's depressing about it though. I got a new car a few weeks ago and I
Ooh.
can't even enjoy the new car smell. I can't
Oh.
smell it. Everybody's like, "Oh, it has that new car smell." And I'm like, "It does? I don't know."
That is terrible.
It is. I'm missing the new car smell of a
So
new car.
I'm thinking now I'm thinking about all the terrible things that well, maybe not terrible. Benefit, okay? The gross thing in the refrigerator. You don't have to smell that anymore.
It's true. I
You
mean, there
can take
are a
out
lot of benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of benefits. I'm not going to lie. So,
And the new car smell really doesn't last that long.
Yeah, they sell that in a bottle.
It's probably gone. How long have you had it?
ooh, end of July. It's probably still there.
It might be.
I don't know. And then every now and then I will get like this, like, I do have like two smells, but they're not like, it's just that everything smells like these two smells. It'll trigger, like my brain knows something smells and what I'm smelling is not actually what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I have like this, I call it the Starbucks smell. So, because I first noticed it when I walked into Starbucks, and it's like this super sweet, like caramely kind of smell. So if I do smell something, I'll know something smells in the air because I will smell that, or lime. I have like lime or the Starbucks smell. And so I don't always smell them, but if something in my brain gets triggered, and those are the only two things.
I think
Wow.
it's going to come back. Yeah.
I do too. It's like, I used to only have the Starbucks smell. Now I have Starbucks and lime, but they don't correlate with anything. It's just like, it's the weirdest
They don't
thing.
come on at the same time, do
Just
you?
taking
'Cause
a really long time.
just imagine what kind of hell that would be. Like, really. The only thing you can smell is Starbucks and lime, and now all of a sudden you're going to get them at the same time.
Well, the Starbucks smell doesn't even really smell like coffee. It's like this other weird, sickly sweet, caramely kind of
See,
smell.
but that's kind of what I smell when I walk into Starbucks. I smell the syrups. Like I smell the
He
like
won't go into Bath and Body Works
No, I
or
don't
any
like
of those types of places.
not that I have a problem
I
with
don't
the
know any
individual
husbands that
smells,
like
but
to go in there.
they're just it's too much. Like it's
I
like
don't see
drinking
too
from a
many
fire
husbands
hose. I
in there.
can't do it.
Well, Kelly Bates said that she also had she smelled things when she was pregnant. So
Yeah.
I
We're not
read
allowed.
that. I read all the books when I was pregnant because that was my way of preparing.
Mhm.
And the weirdest thing that I had read in there is that you crave dirt.
That's pica. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never
Yeah,
craved
it's
dirt,
wonderful.
but I've heard that many pregnant
You
women
mean
have
like-
also like to
like
the point
dirt?
of where you have to tell yourself not to eat dirt.
Or some people do. Or laundry detergent. It's called pica. You should look it up, Tim. It's a thing.
What?
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. Actually, my specialty before
You
I
seem
was
like
in
the
PT
type that would like to know about these weird things. You should absolutely
How
Google
long
that
have you
later.
been in pediatric nursing?
So I did what's called maternal child health flex team. So I was like float pool for maternal child health only for 8 years. And so I did mother, baby, NICU, pediatrics, and sometimes I would go down to labor and delivery and just recover, not actually do the birthing process, but just recover patients. So I did that for 8 years. And then 2 years ago, I went to pediatrics as my home. But my specialty before pediatrics was actually maternal newborn nursing, which is postpartum nursing. So I concentrated heavily in that area for the first like 8 years of my career. And now I've been 2 years on pediatrics. So
Yeah. It's got to be hard because I know it doesn't always work out in our favor. And I don't think that I would be able to do your job on those days.
you know what? I don't want to say that like it never goes that way, because obviously there are things, but we do not have a PICU at our hospital. So a pediatric intensive care unit. So when kids start to deteriorate and they are not doing well, a lot of times they get transferred to that children's hospital that's about an hour away. So thank goodness that we have a place that they can go for a higher level of care. And I haven't, thank you, Lord, experienced a ton of that. Obviously, not everything goes well, but if kids are really super critical or on that borderline to begin with, if they come into the ER, they will just.
You're already making the call. Yeah.
Children's hospital,
I was a temp dental assistant. Like I basically was an independent contractor where I could go and just help out in an office when they needed me. And so I got to experience a lot of different types of offices, a lot of different specialties. And the one that was the worst is pediatric. And it's not because, it's because they're genuinely scared, you know, and here I am and I'm scared and they're scared and we're going to be scared together. And I'm a strong person, but I can't do that on a regular basis.
There's like this age, it's like the 2 to 4-ish, where you cannot, like, you literally cannot reason with them. Like the ones that are like a little bit younger than 2, you can usually kind of distract them. And, or if they're just like tiny babies, it's like, you just do what you need to do and, you know, swaddle them up and they're fine.
Yeah.
But that 2 to 4 age, I mean, like where you come in and they're just like, ah! And I mean, it's like literally like, I cannot, it doesn't matter that I've never poked them. I've never done anything that's hurt them. It doesn't matter. They just have that stranger danger. And it is like, though that 2 to 4 years old is just, it's hard. It is, even just to like put your hands on them to like make sure their pulses are working properly and stuff. So,
but there are the really cool kids too, like young teenagers can be really great patients, sometimes way better than their parents. And, you know, those are the ones that you'd like to show up for work, you know, like I love this patient, but the little kids, I guess I just feel so much of their fear. I can't.
Yeah, your anxiety feeds off of their anxiety.
I don't like pediatric.
Yeah. It's like that kind of age range. And then you get up and like the 7-year-olds and 8-year-olds, they can be hilarious because they're, you know, their personalities are coming out. They know what they like and what they don't like. And they can have conversations with you about things and they're a lot of fun. And then like those, I mean, there are some really fun high school kids too that we've, you know, taken care of and stuff like that. I mean, not every high school kid is fun. I know this because I've raised 3 of them now.
And even the ones that aren't fun sometimes get to be fun. I remember like the first time I realized that Hayden was just a funny dude. Like he just like showed up one day and he had like all of this like smart ass charisma, like, and he had this you know, smart aleck swagger kind of thing, and it arrived, and I was like, where's this kid been? Like, all right, you know, like. But it was funny because
Dexter's the worst. Dexter is so over the top.
He's got smart aleck swagger. He was born with it. Like he drips with it.
He is a showman.
He said something yesterday. He was mispronouncing something and he kept saying, I can't remember what it was, but he kept saying carcass. And I was like, carcass means something died. And he says, something did die, Daddy. And I said, what's dead in there on the living room floor? He goes, my soul. I mean, without missing
He's
a
7.
beat. He didn't miss a beat. It was
That's
like
funny.
it was almost like he had scripted the whole thing and was baiting me into reacting the way that
Probably
I did.
was.
It's definitely
probably
the
was.
kid where your mom looks at you and says, "Yep, you're getting what you deserve."
We
For sure.
feel this every day. Every day he does something like I went to the chiropractor. I jacked my back up a couple weeks ago, and like right at the point where it is like feeling its absolute worst, I come home and Dexter's like, I like walked in the door before I got 5 steps in. He's like, I broke the toilet. I went,
He's definitely an honest
I'm
kid.
like, all right, what happened? And he's like, I don't know. Toilet's broke. Nothing's working. So
So funny.
he did let me plunge on it for about a half hour before he
Before he fessed up
finally told me that he put the
Yeah.
part to the vacuum down there. But it's so funny because like he's got like this odd logic that almost makes sense. It's almost disarming. I don't know. Maybe it's me, but it's almost disarming because he'll be like, I dropped something in the toilet. I didn't want to put my hands in there. I used this other thing to try to get that thing out, and they both got stuck in the toilet.
So I just flushed
So
it.
I flushed it and figured I didn't need that thing anymore. I didn't know.
My friend a couple weeks ago, her toilet wasn't working, and her son had put an entire orange in the toilet along with, I believe it was a comb or a brush. So that's what, but he's 2. So
Right. 2. Totally makes sense.
And I thought we've had so many discussions about the septic tank and, you know, what's okay and what's not okay. But
you're on septic. Yeah.
Mhm.
I grew up on septic, so I know what that. I know that.
We grew up on septic and well. That's Pasadena is also a peninsula.
Yeah.
And so it's nothing but well water and septic down there. And it's like really filled with iron. So we had to like, our white clothes would always turn dingy really quick. We couldn't wear white. Your house, the water always smelled bad. And now they have water softeners and treatments and stuff like that for some degree. But
we had really good well water. Our well water was great. It did not
California
smell
water.
Well, we don't really have water in California anymore. I don't know if you've heard this.
Yeah, I've heard a bit about it.
We don't really have water. It's all going to places that don't need excess water right now. I mean, I'm not wishing for a hurricane or anything by any means, but just a little bit of rain would be nice, you know.
It's not looking good for you at the moment.
No, it's not. And if you're not from California, you do not understand the excitement that we feel when there is rain. Like, this is a real thing. We are excited about rain, and we will post it on our Instagram stories for all of you to see. So you feel the excitement with us, okay?
The moment that it goes from everything being on fire to mudslides. That's what I call California. California is the difference, but it's fire season or it's mudslide season. I mean,
we don't get enough rain where I'm at to have mudslides, and we're not on a hill. We're in the valley, so that's the good news. But
my Jeep is constantly without a top. I haven't put the top on it in months, long time. So if it rains or if it's too cold, I just don't go anywhere.
It doesn't happen.
This is a massive luxury.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's really kind of just because of COVID that things are like that. But I just don't go anywhere. I leave the top off like permanently now, and I just put it in the garage if it's raining or too cold.
It's gotten to the point to where we had to get like a plug-in battery charger for her Jeep because
I really don't go anywhere now.
She doesn't
I just don't.
She doesn't go anywhere often enough, and the battery was dying in her vehicle.
That's so funny.
Little basement dweller.
I am. It's really bad. Like, I spend too much time down here.
But it's your happy place, and it's your safe place. Is. So that's wonderful. I mean, usually on my days off, you're gonna find me in my craft room. So, I mean, I don't know how I would do in the basement though, but you have areas I think where your family can come down and kind of be with you if
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
kind of, yeah.
And they are constantly. Dexter's down here all the time.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
so she's got, she's always got like
Yeah.
the TV and,
If I want Dexter to be downstairs with me, I'll just put something
Yeah.
interesting on the TV and it kind of like calls him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's off doing whatever.
Yeah, because
But-
I'm like very my room, my craft room actually sits right out, like the kitchen and living room are right out there. So like I can be in here and still feel like I know what's going on and feel connected to what's happening in the house. And I would have a hard time if it was further away from everything.
And I agree with you because I was upstairs before in
it
our
was a
family
legit
room that we
issue
never
she had
used.
with it.
And I was always in the mix, and I thought, okay, well, if I'm downstairs, I'll get more work done because I won't be in the mix, which is very true. But being in the basement, there is a thing about being in the basement. It's not fun to be in the basement. There's not a lot of natural light,
And it was,
there's spiders. I have to like de-spider my room like every time I come down here, every day, especially in the fall. And
this room was by design to be very utility, very industrial feeling.
Right.
So it's not, so it's very much a form follows function kind of space.
Super functional.
And
but it is dark
everything
and
has
damp.
a reason, but the dark, the black ceiling's got a reason because all your cords are black. You can't run things overhead and have it look good
your
without.
room is very nice and it's very bright and it's very well done.
Well, thank you. But I guarantee you I do not have nearly as much space as you do. So,
but
really,
I
mean, it's a give and take, right?
I don't mind having this. I didn't mind having the smaller space. I packed a lot of stuff in that smaller space. I'm just more spread out now with more to dust.
She also,
more to dust.
She said something the other day. She said, you know what, the biggest thing I miss about being upstairs is we used to share a desk. We shared a desk space. We were like kind of, face to face, but we had a little.
I hated it. I thought I would come down here and be like, it's mine. It's my space. But I kind of miss him being across from me.
So I have to tell you this because my husband is a school teacher. And so he was home a lot of last year, obviously. But in the summertime, before last year, in the summertime, he would just like come in my craft room and literally, this is not the side I work from. It's actually like a three-sided table here. I work on that side. He will literally come in here and just stand here and just like stare. And I'm like, do you need something? And he'll be like, I'm going to eat lunch soon. And be like, okay. Like, go eat your lunch. He's just kind of like, he'll come in here and just kind of stare. And I'm used to them like working. My big work times are when everybody's gone at school. And usually when they come home, I try to like wrap up my day, then be out, making dinner and being with everybody. But so it's always just like, I just feel like my whole vibe is crushed when someone's just staring at me.
Yeah. And
I'm like, do you need something? And he's like, no, I just wanted to see what you're doing. And I'm like,
he doesn't ever stare at me.
I don't stand still long enough to stare.
He does bring me lunch, and we'll have lunch here at my little round table. Like in between his appointments, he'll stop home and have lunch.
We meal together.
Like that. But those are the luxuries we get to enjoy because we're self-employed.
Yes. Yeah. I have to tell you, I'm not going to lie. I'd love to quit my job right now. Just do this full time. Not in the cards
we were telling, the older kids, the Kaylin and Hayden, I had an extra truck. I just sold it this week, actually. I had an extra truck that was just sitting around, not doing any good for anybody. Neither one of them really had a job, and neither one of them had a vehicle. And I said to him like a year and a half ago, I was like, look, why don't I buy you guys a trailer? I'll outfit you with some landscape equipment, mower and some backpack blowers and string trimmer. I was like, you guys could have an instant business. You'd make more money in a summer than you would doing anything else that you guys are capable of doing right now. And you wouldn't be beholden to somebody else's requirements or somebody else's schedule. You work on a nice day. You don't even have to work when the weather's bad. Neither one of them wanted to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
I'm
no
thinking
takers.
like, and I didn't do it. And the other day I'm sitting there thinking to myself like, well, shit, why didn't I do it? Why didn't I just,
Maryland
right,
Landscaping
Maryland,
Company.
why,
That's all
why
we
didn't
need
I
right
just
now.
have another one? Let's just have another one.
Well, it's definitely been an interesting 2 years. And I think that I've thought often about going back to work because I don't hate my job. I like my job.
I don't hate my job either. It's just
Yeah.
times are it's tough to be a nurse right now. It just is. Things
And
are
that's
just
what
tough.
talks me out of it because I've had to brush up on infection control because to keep my license
Mhm.
over these 2 years. And now it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but who would not? I mean, like seriously, if we're talking dream of all dreams, who wouldn't want to just stay home and make cards and YouTube videos all the time? I mean,
Right?
don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't think people understand the amount of work that goes into it. It is work. It's
A
work.
lot.
There's
There's,
a lot that goes into editing videos and photos and coming up with projects and there are times when you don't feel inspired. I think a lot of people probably think that we don't go through those things too. I know that there's a
Yeah.
lot of people out there who craft and they're like, oh, I just don't feel creative. We go through that too. We have to find ways to push through, but I mean,
Oh, yeah.
like it's work, but I'd love to be doing that for me all the time, so
I tell
And
folks that all the time when and even the kids every once in a while I think they look at what we do as very, very different things, and they are. It's just a different level, it's a different type of effort. I put out a very physical effort, not necessarily at work. I work harder for myself here. The kids, what our kids see is they see me busting my tail around the house,
right.
taking care of the backwoods, building buildings, doing what I do here. They see that. They see me coming in. Dexter walks up to me now, and he won't touch
he
me.
does a sweat
He
check.
makes sure that I'm not dripping. But
Is it okay to hug Dad right now? Oh, he's dry. Okay.
but they use that as a barometer, right? As a level of effort. Dad works really hard. Mom works really hard.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
different,
Right, I
where she's
love
not
that.
downstairs playing all day. I'd
That's
love
true.
for folks to think. I mean, I do. There's a part of me that likes people thinking that she's literally just at play every day because, I mean, really, who wouldn't just want to, like you were saying, who wouldn't want to just be able to play all day every day? Somebody else to edit the videos, somebody else to do the voiceover, somebody, and I'm just the hands. I'm just, or I'm just the one
Right.
making the project.
Ultimately, I would love to be the person behind the camera. Like, I would love to have like someone else to be in front of the camera so I can do all the behind the scenes stuff because I really enjoy doing that. I enjoy sitting down and editing something. It's just another way for me to be creative.
Mhm.
And I don't
I think-
necessarily want to be in front of the camera all the time.
I think I'm the opposite of you. I think I'd rather be in front of the camera and doing and creating the work and then like somebody else please manage my Instagram for me and somebody else please edit this video. I don't mind doing the voiceover but if it and I have thought about like getting one of my kids to like edit for me because they're always like, Mom, can I do? But unless you really know what's going on in the project, you really don't know what parts of that video of that role are important to include in the finished product. So it's not an easy thing to just hand it off to somebody and be like, edit this video and then I can come back to it and do the voiceover. It just doesn't happen like that. So
but I think that's the difference between that's this industry though, this particular industry within the craft making, because believe me, there's plenty of people out there with 200 million, or not 200 million, but 20 million subscribers that that they do just that. You know what I mean? There is very little there's very little of their work on the back end of it. They come up with an idea or a concept and then they film it, they cut it, and they're doing it every single day. So they've got a full team behind them that's pushing out that content,
And
that's doing the editing,
seriously,
and they don't
if we
care
were
about the end
3,000 miles
result.
away, I would film you. I would take it from you.
we would be a great team. We would be a great team. I have talked about like getting you out here to like look at my setup and like my video cameras and stuff and like
Amanda of Pear Blossom Press, she wants me to come out and visit. So
Where
she's in
she's in
Riverside.
I was gonna say she's only a few hours from me.
Yeah. So there's
Amanda
probably
will split the plane ticket. Is she here tonight?
There's a good chance I'm just going to come out there at some point. We were actually trying to get out to Portland before going to Montana this month. We were gonna, because that's why I hadn't confirmed a date with you per se, like until recently, because we are typically in Disney this week and decided not to do that. We were gonna go to Montana to spend a week, and there's like a flood of people visiting Montana right now.
All the parks and things like that
It's
out
just
there
super popular at the moment. So we
I didn't know that.
feel like doing that.
Okay, so have you ever been? Okay, you and I have this in common. We love Disney. We love Disney. Have you ever been to the California Disneyland? Because I've been to Orlando.
I went a long time ago, and it was maybe like one day. I don't remember very much of it. So I always tell people no, that I've never been, because honestly, I couldn't tell you much about it.
I've never been to Anaheim.
I remember Orlando, not Orlando, Universal Hollywood. I've been there. But not, I don't remember.
It's very interesting
Disneyland.
how different they are, because so I'm a California girl. I've been born, raised, I've been here all my life. I've been in this town all my life, aside from, a year here and a year there. But I've been in this small 10,000 person town my whole life. And so Disneyland is what I know and what I grew up with. And for me to go to Orlando and all the theme parks are separate. I mean, here you have like all the big rides. They're all in one park. They're just in different little lands, but it's like compacted. When I went to Orlando, I was just like, oh my gosh, everything's so far apart. Like you need extra days there. And funny thing is,
there's still stuff. I've never been to the boardwalk in Orlando at Disney.
See, it's just like, it's hard to see everything because it's all
I've never been to
out.
We've been several times. I mean, we've been to Orlando several times.
We've probably been this week in Orlando the last 4 or 5
years.
4 years.
I don't know.
4 or 5. But
it's been a while.
It's kind of weird because I keep getting reminders on Facebook. Hey, look what you did 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And I'm like, all right, I know, I'm not in Disney.
That happened to me this year. It was 5 years ago in July that we went to Bora Bora. And it
feels like a lifetime ago.
It does feel like a lifetime ago. And I'm just going to tell you, that was the trip of a lifetime. I tell everybody, just sell everything you own and do that one time, because it was like the most amazing trip. And I think what made it so amazing was like, I literally relaxed on that trip. I hardly ever, when I go places, it's like I'm taking my laptop with me. I'm doing this. When I went, it was like we were unplugged. We like scuba dived in the morning. We'd go back to the bungalow in the afternoon, lay on the deck, of course, in the shade. I'm not made for sun. Lay on the deck and like fall asleep reading a book or something, those sweet little naps that you get, and then like wake up and go to dinner. I mean, it was just like the most amazing trip. And could I have done that anywhere? Probably. But in my heart, like, that's going to be Bora Bora for me, because it was that time where I actually did. It was just like, I was like relaxed, completely relaxed. And
I've been able to do that at Disney. Like, I know that sounds crazy to people.
That is crazy.
When me and Tim don't take the kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
We travel right without the kids.
We are capable of tuning everyone else out. Okay. So we
step away from both businesses. We step away from the kids.
Enjoy each other and feel like kids in a little bit of a way, and eat really amazing food, because people don't realize how good you can eat at Disney.
Yeah.
Oh, you can. Yeah, totally.
Oh man, like gourmet.
Not the park
fabulous
food, guys.
Yeah,
not the park food.
They have great restaurants.
Yeah.
And so that's what we like to do, and just kind of be kids together. And it works for us.
If you ever get the opportunity, this is not cheap by any means, but if you ever get the opportunity to do a Disney cruise, they are amazing.
I'm scared to death of being away from land. Okay.
Girl, I'm telling you, this is like my kids, I think we've done 3 now. My kids like remember those trips like none other. And I could totally see my husband and I going on a Disney cruise by ourselves without the kids. Like they treat you, it is like 5-star service. It's
I believe
amazing.
it.
My
I'd be
husband is allergic to
panic
milk.
attack.
They would have a pastry chef make him dairy-free desserts every night. And these weren't just like, sugar-free Jello with some Cool Whip on it. These were like world-class desserts every
Mhm.
single night because they knew he had an allergy. I mean, they are amazing. And they have, if you go by yourself, they have adult only areas where you can go and be away from kids. So like there's pools designated for adults. The entertainment is amazing, So
Well,
I'm
Kim,
just saying, if you ever have the opportunity, like go to therapy and get that out of your system, that fear of being away
good.
from the land, because they're like trips of a lifetime. They're so amazing. They're so good.
I believe you. I do. I need to get that. I've come a long way since I grew up on the water. Like I used to really
Yeah.
fight my parents about going out on the boat. I hated it. And it's just something that I've had like my entire life. And now that I'm older, I just kind of, I just don't do that stuff anymore, so it doesn't bother me. But my brother is completely opposite, could spend his whole life on the water.
Yeah. So you
It's
don't
just-
scuba dive then?
No.
Brian,
I have swam with dolphins.
So Brian and I have a lot in common. I lived in Montana for a year and a half. Did a couple winters out there. Brian could easily live in any of those types of environments, and we both are very, very comfortable and capable. 50, 60, 100 miles offshore. Doesn't bother us at
Kim
all.
Miller says that we should plan a Disney event, and I think that's a perfect
You
idea.
were just talking about
Yes.
that.
I'm
I
so
was.
there. Can we get Jeff Lindbergh to help us out with that? Like the
I was
coordinating?
totally talking to Tim about planning an event in Orlando because they're starting to do conventions again. And I'm like, hey, that sounds like a lot of fun, but I just don't know when exactly is the right time.
Well, the right time is when the people who are going to be attending
are comfortable
in traveling, and that's something where, I mean, really the reality is that's a financial decision that has to come down. When it makes sense to invest the time and money and effort and resources into doing that, is going to be a result of when folks feel comfortable about traveling, staying in hotels, visiting these types of, and not everybody's there yet,
Yeah.
That's when it's
Kim,
going to be.
I want to do that. I'm totally down for that. So as soon as people are on board with getting together and doing something like that, I'm totally in for that. And
I have to say, they're moving Creativation to Orlando, and I think that's an interesting move. I don't know how much like you keep up with it, but I don't know that it's gonna fly there. I don't know. We'll see.
It's funny.
Still says that it's listed there. I'm starting to look at houses for us to rent to go there for Creativation. And
it's also like right during spring break. Like it's,
I
mean,
don't know why they did that. I'm like, why would they do that? Everybody's going to be there.
All that, we looked into it, and we still are. I mean, it's definitely not a done thing. But yeah, we've been looking at it like, man, is this really real? Are they really doing it? And I know that AFCI just transferred ownership or something. Like they're no longer
with someone else, with another corporation.
Right.
I'm not really familiar.
I don't know if it changes any of the affiliations or any of the upcoming shows or anything, but I think they merged with an even bigger.
Judy, were you asking me a
conglomerate.
question? Because it says, Corin, did you ever put ups? Oops. So did you ever get your Mickey mirror put up? Mickey mirror. Did I have a Mickey mirror? I don't know what that is. Don't qualify to go to well, Kim, I understand I don't really need to go to Creativation.
That's
Seriously,
not where we're going.
Like I only really go to see my friends.
Yeah.
Like at this point, like I don't buy things. I don't need to meet people so much. Like I just go to see the people that are there. So I'm just gonna go and help out friends that do have a reason to be there.
Yeah, and so the show has changed over. They had it in Anaheim before, and there used to be like a consumer event, like for all the people, where you could go and you could purchase things and there were make and takes and stuff like that. And then there was like the, corporate side of it where, and it shifted away from that consumer to more of like the people actually working in the industry, whether they're creators, bloggers, product development, that sort of thing. So it's really moved into like that area, and it's changed a lot over like, I'd say the last even just 5, 6, 7 years. And then they moved it to Phoenix. They moved it to Phoenix. And so that's different. So, but it really is to me about just seeing the people face to face, like all the people that I like see online all year and I talk to online all year. It's just like getting to see them in person. There's no substitute for that. So it still serves that purpose, and just making those face-to-face connections. It just feels really good to connect with those people in person.
It's always been really good for me to get out there, because I mean, I'm even less recognized than anybody else. So I get to see how everybody actually acts around relative nobodies. Yeah. And it's a remarkable how many people are surprisingly like what I expect them to be like. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't think that like it's not about going and making business connections for me. I don't really feel that I need to do that. Everything is online. Okay. So I talk to a lot of people all over the world. But Creativation for me, the first time was just to go and experience it, because Tana was like, I'd like to go. Everyone wants to go and experience it because they have this idea in their head about what it is. It's like a big playground for us, like all these products and people, and it is fun. It's definitely overwhelming. The show's gotten smaller, but there's still a lot of stuff to see. And I wish that I could explain to people that you're not really missing so much. Like if you're not going there to talk to the people that you talk to on a regular basis online, like I've tried the classes, and I don't want to knock the classes. There are things to learn there, but I don't find value in a lot of them. So I've kind of cut that part out of the trip now.
It sounds like they're cutting that out of the program anyway. Like a lot of that stuff is getting phased out. I don't know. But the reality that I saw when I was there was that it's really, more than anything else, it's a place where deals get made. It's a place where people are trying to buy. They're trying to set up their year's worth of purchases. So they're going to buy, like, look, I'm going to buy 50,000 stamps from this stamp manufacturer this year, or whatever the case may be. Like that's where,
right. And I love seeing the new product and getting a jump on.
But even that stuff is so much like, look at this new widget. It's coming out in 2023.
Yeah.
And it's not at all recognizable when it came out from when you saw the prototype 6 months ago.
It's so funny because it'll be like, you'll see all these things and you're like, I don't get to have them right now either. It's just, I still have to wait for, whoever it is to release it. And that release is not until April or whatever. So, my wish, I come away with a wish list, and it's like,
That's another thing that surprised me about when the show is scheduled for, because so many people are going there to make their purchases for the year,
late.
Like in January, and then it just kind of feels late in the spring. But
it's right near my
I don't know what I'm talking about.
18th birthday. So I mean, like if I go, I don't know if I'm going to go or not. I have no problem traveling. I'm vaccinated.
You should come to Orlando, because I'm going to go.
I feel comfortable traveling, so it's not like that at all. If I go though, because it's like right near her 18th birthday, I'm probably going to fly in, like maybe spend a day or two there and then fly out. I mean, it's going to be like fast. And for me, it's flying all the way across the country, the complete distance across the country. When it was in Anaheim, I could drive. And when it was in Phoenix, I flew. It was like an hour flight for me. And so, but it will probably be like super quick. I want to see everyone though. I am really missing that part of it. And I just want to see everyone. And I just like hug their necks and,
But that's the other thing that people, that a lot of folks, especially folks that would be watching, don't recognize too, is that the people that you want to go and see, they're really already spoken for. At least their time on the floor is already spoken for. So when you see them at Creativation, yeah, it might be great. They want to come say hi to you, or Corey,
really
or Jennifer, or whomever.
You to just
but
come and fly in and say hi, and then that's it.
But really, you're running
between
between talking with the folks over at this booth, and then you're supposed to be over there at 10 o'clock, and then you're supposed to be over here doing a make and take at 1 o'clock, and then at some point you're supposed to have lunch, and then next thing you know, you look up and it's 5:30 in the afternoon. The show is shut down, and you're like, "What the hell happened to the day?"
Go to bed.
That's that's the reality. So
it's exhausting too. I always tell my husband, I'm exhausted when I leave.
I went right before I had heart surgery.
Yeah.
Oh
my! And I was on this terrible medication, and I had to take naps. I would stop in the middle of the day, and he would roam around the show by himself because I was in the hotel room taking a nap.
What year was that you went? Because I don't feel like we've never met in person.
I did not go last year. And I don't bother people. I'm kind of the creepy person that's in the corner watching everybody.
I don't remember if I was there in 2019. I'm gonna pull up my pictures. January.
You were there. Whatever year it was, you were there.
Okay, so I told him that he couldn't call you this.
No.
And yeah, there's a reason why I know that you were there.
There's a reason why we remember you seeing you, because you were wearing a glitter skirt.
Oh, it was the sequin skirt.
And he called you Glitter Butt for a long time.
I didn't know your name.
Because he didn't know your name, but he remembered that skirt.
Right. Because I did this with a lot of people, right? And it would be embarrassing for people to look at my contacts in my phone because it'll be like Fat Jimmy.
Yeah, like my son is Donut in his phone. Right. He does it to everybody.
Hayden's name is Donut, and I call him Donut because he stole my donut. Like I eat literally a plain sour cream donut, and he ate it. So I forever named him Donut.
I think this means we've been talking too long.
It's just the way that I do things, but
so I was Glitter Butt.
So because she was trying to describe, or I can't remember how it came about, and I was like, oh, I remember her. That was the one I called Glitter Butt, and she was like, don't call her that, and I was like, well, what's her name? And
Glitter Butt,
yeah. So, and that was the.
It's because the outfit was amazing.
I found the picture.
Yes.
Glitter Butt.
I don't know what year that was, but that's when I remember seeing you. Yeah.
So I wish I would have met you in person though, because I did not meet you in person, and that makes me sad.
Everyone, Dexter wants to show his dinosaur that he made. This is his felt dinosaur that he sewed all by himself.
It's a
plushie.
He
wants to show it off. Here you go. You can have it back.
I did see a question earlier that I did want to answer before we go. Roberta, I think, asked if Roberta said just now I was there because Amber Damask Love went through my purse. So
I think I remember that. Yeah, I was watching her go through everybody's purses.
Yeah, I think, apparently she went through my purse. My purse is an open book. If you ever want to go through my purse, just let me know. But Roberta had asked me if I still use my Glowforge, and I do. So I'm getting ready to engrave some coasters for our church, but somebody asked that, and it was actually crafting related. So I thought I would answer that.
Oh yeah. Wow. We really did make a hard left, didn't we?
I
forgot this was a crafty show.
I've always intended for this show to get to know crafters behind the scenes and not really just about crafting. So I'm sorry if that irritates anyone else, but it doesn't irritate me because I like to know the actual person behind the creations, and that's what's important to me. So that's
I love that, and I'm totally down for that. But she had asked that earlier, and I was like,
the Glowforge is awesome. I think Sin has one too. Do you get a lot of use out of it? Do you feel like it was worth it? I know you used it for your daughter's wedding.
I did use it for my daughter's wedding. I love it. I wish I had more time to use it because I can think of a million things to do with it. But because I have so much work to do in here, and I do work a job outside of
Right.
what I do in here. It's hard for me to find time to just play with
Yeah.
that. And so I wish I had more time to do that, but I definitely use it. And my friend started a business actually with my Glowforge. She would come over and cut stuff on my Glowforge and like make these signs. And she's since bought her own. But it's come in handy for things that I never thought I would have used it for. I've used it for so many things, for like to do things for our church and events and favors for people and stuff like that. And so it's really it's expensive. I'm not gonna lie. It's
Tim
expensive.
wants like what is it called? A DNC? That's not right.
Oh, a CNC.
CNC.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Goodness.
Whatever you can
I don't want the
carve things with your tools.
Right. The one that I want is actually it's a bit larger. It's a it's a suspended pulley action, hangs on the wall. It does like a 4x8. It's a pretty aggressive machine.
Yeah. They're a little slower though.
Same thing. Well, right, but it's something that I would literally probably set up and then walk away from. You know, I have a shop here. I have another one in South Baltimore. I mean, it's something that I would take and put in a garage somewhere and just set it up, let it start cooking and let it start cutting and walk away for, an overnight or whatever it is.
Judy's asking what the Glowforge is.
It is a laser cutting machine. It is, so you basically can take SVGs just like you could on your silhouette, portrait or whatever. But it cuts like wood and leather, and it engraves, it cuts acrylic, which like when I saw that, I was like, I need that machine. I don't know why I need to cut acrylic, but I do. It's just part of who I am. And then it engraves like glass and tile and rocks. And I mean, it just like, it's a crazy big machine. It does not live in my craft room because it is so big. And it has to be vented to the outside because there's fumes and stuff like that, exhaust. But so it's a
permanent installation. So like when you put your machine together, it's ducted to the outside. Like it's supposed to be a permanent installation kind of thing like that.
No, it doesn't have to be permanent. It has like a dryer hose on the outside.
Oh, so you just kind of like
so I just like shove it to the window and close the window down on top of it to where the window holds it in. And you could I just like kind of rig up some of the extra materials across where the window's open to try to keep some of the exhaust from coming back in. But it doesn't have to be permanent. It would be nice.
Kelly's asking what size it is.
Oh, that's like.
Do they make different sizes? I didn't know they made different sizes.
There are not. There are 3 machines, and the difference between the machines are actually the power and the speed of the laser. So there's a basic, a plus, and a pro. And the cutting area within the machine is 12 by 20. So you can take a 12 by 20 piece of, they call it draft board. It's basically MDF, or you can do like 1/4 inch or like even up to 1/2 inch plywood of some sort, and cut that with it. So it's a 12 by 20 cutting area. You could cut paper with it. It's a little it's a little heavy duty for if you're just cutting paper. I'm not gonna lie. Like you're better off with like a silhouette.
Yeah.
This was something that I bought when my daughter was getting married, and she got married in November. We made ornaments for her wedding favors that had their names in like cursive, surrounded by like 2 hexagon frames with some bows on the top. And honestly, it was like, this is the only really good reason that I could ever come up with to spend this much money on the machine, is if I like make all of these favors for her wedding. And then I'm like, and then I'm going to use it for so much more. And we really have. My friend has one now too. So we go to the same church. So sometimes when there's like big projects that need to be done for the church, she'll cut part of it. I'll cut part of it, or, whatever. Let me grab this. Do I have it up here? I'm in.
How fast is it?
It depends. The engraving's pretty slow, but cutting is like super fast. So we made these keychains. Lovely is our ladies ministry in our church. So this is made out of acrylic and this is engraved on the acrylic. And then, so we just made those. We're making coasters for an event. We're making leather, like, you know, those hats with like the leather patches where like the logo is burned into the leather. We're making those for an event. So we use it for a lot of different things. It's so fun. And I have to say, I find myself like staring at it as it's cutting every time. I'm always just, it hasn't gotten old. I just sit there and I'm like so amazed.
That's what she does when she embosses things. It's funny as hell to watch. Like she's always a child. She's like,
wait, just give me a minute.
It really is. Embossing is one of those things that just never gets old. It's like magic. And so it is, I would say it's not for like your everyday crafter. I mean, well, maybe it is for your everyday crafter, but my friend took and she has like handmade wood signs that she does. And so
I was just gonna say, I've seen some awesome like Disney signs. Like I follow a few Instagram accounts that make interchangeable like seasonal Disney signs, and you can't even buy it. They get sold so fast.
Yeah,
they get sold out like that, you know. And I'm always telling him, if I had, you know, maybe like a jigsaw or something, I could make one. But
I have a jigsaw.
Hey,
I'm never gonna do that.
Can you design an SVG?
I have Silhouette Studio.
Yeah, so you can. If you have the business edition of Silhouette Studio, you can design the SVG. I'll cut it out of the draft board for you and send it to you. And you can have Tim make the base of the sign, because that's something I cannot do.
And I could paint it.
Yeah, you could paint it yourself.
Yeah, I don't paint.
My friend's super talented she does woodworking, and they made like the Montessori beds, and she makes these signs. She does like all the mosaic like backgrounds with the woods and stuff like that. She does some really cool things. Like that's one time I went over and used her router, and I felt like I was like super cool because I was using wood tools. But
have you seen my background for my yeah, he did
that. So beautiful.
Out of like scrap wood.
Yeah.
Math.
Yeah. And
I like math.
My husband likes math. My husband actually, his degree is in math.
I have an engineering degree. I know I'm just a roofer, but I have an engineering degree.
We have a rule in nursing. You're never allowed to say just. You're not just a nurse. You're not just a roofer. You are a roofer.
This is my second. This is my second career. I mean, I've already retired once.
He was a military contractor, so I
right.
love it that he is just a roofer now.
I'm much happier being stateside, sleeping in my own bed.
I did not paint over my glitter wall, Roberta. It's still glittered. It's behind me. But I
see it.
Can you see it? If I shine a light on it, you could probably see it. But
I see it sparkling.
We used like a lot of products, and one of them yellowed. I think it was the Rust-Oleum glitter paint that we used, and it yellowed really badly. So I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, especially if you're trying to do a white glitter wall like I was.
I want a gold glitter wall.
And this is
you might be able to pull it off. It's because it's yellowed.
You can see the white shelf behind me. It's got like this yellow cast to it.
But
that's iridescent, so it doesn't like. People may not notice that it's like yellowed because it's got, you know how iridescence has some blue and some purple and pink in it and stuff like that.
And you can't see it on camera, but you can see it in here firsthand. You can see it.
It was always intended to have tile on it, but we moved down here so quickly that we didn't have time to do all of that. So
there's a lot
it was really done after the fact, and it may one day get tile on it. I'm not sure. There's also gas in there.
There's gas and electric
fireplace.
in there for a fireplace.
So
that would be amazing.
Yeah. So like one day there might be a gas fireplace in there. But we did it. We were bringing gas to the house anyway. For our kitchen upstairs, we were getting gas to the oven, and he was like, do you want gas anywhere else? And I was like, fireplaces. So we're gonna have here and upstairs in our living room. So one day. They're kind of expensive, so it's definitely on the list.
Here's the deal of what I've learned about anything. We've been in our house for 15 years, but I did owner builder on this house. Like, I contracted this house out. I was involved in every step of the process. At that time, I was a stay-at-home mom. So I met with the contractors out here every day. I have family who did construction like all my life. So I had the benefit of their wisdom to like do it. But I was involved. Like, if I could go back, there would be like outlets everywhere. There would just be electricity like on every single stud in this house, because when you start like redoing things and you're like, oh, I need an outlet there, and like they got to go into the wall and they got to pull it down or go into the attic and pull it down. We don't have basements here in California. We just don't have them. So it's like
your ground moves. You're not allowed to have basements.
Right.
Your ground moves.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
My mom doesn't have basements either because that's just water. So there's no basements in North Carolina where she is.
But like you just gotta just put it in every wall on every stud, just like pull the wire.
When we were doing down here, it was the conversation like, where do you want power? Okay. And she was very, very specific. I want it on this wall. I want it over here. I want it over there.
I had it all drawn out.
I want it up on the ceiling. But there's a 6-foot section of wall right over there that has no outlet on it. And there's no reasonable way to run it without undoing some stuff on the wall. And it's like a major thing to try to run it. And it's also a fairly major big deal that there isn't any there. Yeah. And there's power everywhere else.
Yeah. Like once you start getting into a space and you live in it, then you start really realizing how you want to use the space, and it kind of morphs. So
it really does.
I enjoyed redecorating that way because you really get what you want and what is functional that way. But it's difficult, and it's time consuming, and you have to live in a construction zone often. So
yeah, well, when we built this house, I did not do what I do now. So this was not a craft room. And so when I remodeled a few years ago, and it was just like, we're opening up walls, I'm going to get every like outlet that I want. And so they're like tucked into like shelves here. And so, and then I ended up having to have someone come back and put stuff in the ceiling so that I could plug in my camera to the ceiling, without cords running down. So,
I've gotten most of my cords are all under control down here, except for behind my monitor, which it'll get controlled.
It's not mine.
But all of the studio cords and everything, he took care of everything, so nothing is hanging down anymore, and it's wonderful.
That's awesome. Hi, Dexter.
We should probably go. We've been talking forever.
I know, but it hasn't felt like forever. It hasn't felt like forever, so that's a good thing.
It's late. What are you gonna say?
I thought you were gonna make milkshakes.
Yeah, we did. We promised milkshakes, and we're terrible people.
And it's getting way too late for me to have drinks, so
we need to go.
Wow, it was such a pleasure talking with you guys. I loved hanging out. It did not feel like an hour and 48 minutes.
I know. It's crazy.
It was good. We'll have to do it again sometime. Maybe next time we'll make something.
Yes.
As long as I'm in it, I'm happy.
He's a ham.
Well, dude, you're in it. You're a star. You're the star of the show. Craftcast with Dexter.
I feel like she's losing followers because I'm not in most of her videos.
Oh, I think that's probably true.
People aren't watching because he's not in the videos. So he keeps telling me, I need to be in the videos. And I'm like, dude, I agree with you. I think you're absolutely right. Don't I? So, well, we have to go and serve milkshakes.
Apparently.
Before it's too late. So,
have a wonderful night.
Thank you all for coming and hanging out with us. Yep. And I will put information on the next Craftcast in the description box because I cannot remember for the life of me right now what date it's supposed to be. But I think that it's Simon
think Simon's with us next month.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk with Simon Hurley.
And
So,
we have to make sure that we get
stay the
through-
whole time.
That we get through it with Silent. We
stay the whole time.
we did Simon dirty last year.
Yeah,
We gotta
last
do
year
it.
I wasn't feeling well, and we cut Simon off at like 45 minutes, and I want to talk to Simon.
It
so.
was almost like cutting him off mid sentence. It was kind of like gotta go by. So we gotta make that up. To
Thank
him.
you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
Have a good night, glitter butt.
Bye, glitter butt.
Glitter butt.
Oh jeez.
New name.
Call her that. Don't point. That's not nice.